And welcome back. Now, like most about everything at this time, and especially this year, the music conference and exhibition, Moshito, takes place amidst uncharted waters of COVID-19 regulations. But the aim of this event, of course, remains the same, which is bringing together industry practitioners, experts, and, of course, talent scouts from all over the world to grow the creative economy. And this year's focus is on indigenous sounds. To tell us more about this, we're joined by Stanley Khoza, who's chairperson for Moshito, and Steve Kekana, musician and Moshito Ambassador. Stanley, good morning. Thanks for speaking to us this morning. So just how challenging has it been to put this event together under the current circumstances?
Firstly, thank you so much, SABC, for the interview. To the viewers at home, this is where the news breaks. You know, for us, the most challenging part of this whole preparation has been the fact that you get out of COVID. There's a lot of uncertainties. The music industry, it's in a cage. It cannot function because of the fact that we need to comply to COVID rules and regulations that impacts the sector. And then luckily the president then announces that we can now operate at a particular percentage rate. So as Moshito, we saw it befitting, to put together a spectacle that will allow us to keep alive and informed of the new challenges, the new development. You'll know that COVID-19, for example, had to parachute people into the fourth industrial revolution, starting to do business technologically. We're having this interview online. But those are some of the things that we needed to think about and quickly just jump in and create an international conference that addresses and obviously give homage to the South African indigenous music. And that's what we are doing. It hasn't been easy. It has been difficult, but we are making it.
Well, Stanley, the music event is going to be semi-virtual this time around, so that in itself is quite something. So how exactly have you structured it?
Look, we had to put a lot of thought into how do we make it, keep it as original as possible, because it's a physically attended event that has got international audience. But because of the borderlines, we had to keep it local, get at least a proper venue that will still allow people to meet physically, then have the event recorded properly, packaged properly for online broadcasting, which will happen next week. So what we have done is that we have managed to make sure that we cater for the audience that is here that can attend physically, and those that are missing the experience of what is happening will then have the pleasure of seeing this on YouTube, Facebook, and all these other platforms that we have. So that is what we have been working on. And luckily, thanks to the technological understanding and some of the key partners we have, like City of Johannesburg, we have been able to achieve. So far, we are confident that South Africans, the music industry is enjoying the entire conference. And when we now upload it up for viewing everywhere so that people are outside the borders as well can participate, they will have the pleasure of enjoying Moshito 2020.
And of course, we're talking about indigenous sound, Stanley, the preservation thereof. Are you able to quantify the value of these indigenous sounds?
Look, in monetary value, no, but in terms of cultural value, yes, it is the most important part of our lives. There's nothing more important than culture and the preservation of heritage, and also just our authentic sound. You must know that South Africa has always been championing the lead when it comes to music. If you look back then in the days, we had bubblegum, we had kwaito, we had iskatami, mbakanga, and all these other sounds that emanates from this particular country. We have legends such as Steve Kekana and the sounds of the legendary Makhadzi, who are our ambassadors this year. Us is about paying homage and making sure that truly South African authentic indigenous music is recognized and it's given the platform that it deserves. We know that we wish for it to be publicized more on our radio stations, on our public platforms, on our corporate platforms. But by grace and slowly, having these discussions as a nation will allow us to start realizing the importance of all of us, from broadcasters to corporate events, finding the need to emphasize and practice pushing indigenous sounds of South Africans.
Well, speaking of Steve Kekana, of course, the ambassador, one of the ambassadors, he joins us as well. Steve, welcome to Morning Live. And of course, as a musician, I'm very keen to hear how COVID-19 has disrupted your schedule. How has it changed and how have you adapted during this lockdown?
Good morning, Sakina, and good morning to the viewers of Morning Live. COVID-19 has been a disaster. I want to be very honest to all musicians without choosing. But everything that happens on earth has got two ways, advantages and disadvantages. It had advantages because we could not go and do live performances and make money. But it had an advantage of saying we can learn and bring new ideas of creating new music and everything. And to my surprise, during this pandemic, I was requested to be an ambassador of the Moshito event. And that is one of the advantages that COVID-19 brought to me.
So just talking about that, some of the advantages, how have you been able to share with some of your fellow artists, Steve, performing suggestions, for example, or other related issues that you've had to discuss during the conference as well?
Sakina, I'm not ashamed to say I am IT phobic, right? But I have learned not to be phobic anymore. I have learned to join the group of born after technology, not born before technology, as young kids call us. Because without getting to know these things, we are being forever left behind. So COVID-19, in a way, has taught me that without fourth industrial revolution, you will never be able to reach the world.
So we are wrapping it up. Steve, from your side, what can South Africans look forward to? And from your side, Stanley, how do people join? Let's start with you, Steve.
South Africa can look forward to new sounds because of the artificial intelligence which is being provided by the fourth industrial revolution, you may find that new sounds within the original sounds of South Africa, like Timbila, like Sitolotolo, you can come out with new creation of new songs and all that. So South Africa will be treated with new songs, but from original sounds, which we are trying to preserve.
And Stanley?
For me, it's to say to all South Africans and the South African music industry, let's all go today, close, and give a befitting farewell to the last day of conferencing. It is important that we come in our numbers and learn as much as we can, bring in our mask. Let's all follow Moshito on all social media platforms and on the Arts Alive platforms under City of Johannesburg. Apart from a lot of things, we are thankful to SABC for the opportunity to communicate this important message to the South Africans that Moshito 2020 is here, and it's about preservation of indigenous music and making sure that we give homage to the sounds that have birthed the sounds of today. And with those few words, I really would like to thank the SABC and the public for the opportunity, and our ambassador, Mr. Steve Kekana, and the legendary Makadzi as well, for being the faces of Moshito 2020. For that, we'll forever be thankful. I thank you all.
Well, thank you so much to both gentlemen, Stanley Khoza, Chairperson of Moshito, and Steve Kekana, legendary musician and Moshito Ambassador, talking to us about the music conference and exhibition, which is currently taking place and continues until tomorrow. And like everything else, they've had to adapt, and a hybrid format adopted this time around. Let's take a quick